Welcome to Magdala. I'm delighted that you are joining us this evening here in the Holy Land, and I want to show you around. We'll see some archaeology, we'll see the general location, some pieces of Galilee. We have Mount Arbel, we have Tiberias, the Sea of Galilee, of course, and tell you a little bit about the story here. Céad Míle Fáilte Roimh Go Léir. Welcome everybody. It's a joy to have you here. Thank you for the prayers, and we're also praying for all the pilgrims, past, present and future. So God bless you all. I see the crowd is assembling, and you are all welcome. My name is Fr Eamon Kelly, and I've been serving here in the Holy Land for about 13 and a half years. Came in January 2007. It's been a wonderful experience. And you know, people are sad when they leave after a week. They'd like to stay an extra day or two or another week. And so I get to count all the days I'm here. It's amazing, amazing, amazing gift. So let's go into action, because you didn't come to see me, you're coming to see the Holy Land. So I must turn this around here, and I'll show you the evening sky. The sun is going to set. We're here at Mount Arbel. We'll see Mount Arbel better afterwards, because these roofs and structures are blocking the view a little bit right here, but I'm here for another reason. And here you see the evening sky. And it's been very beautiful. It's been a little warm today for Irish measures. It was 32 degrees today, Celsius, centigrade. There you see the bougainvillea flowers, really beautiful. And you see a different color over there, a redder color, very plentiful. So let me show you this place here. This is we're in Magdala, and we're going to show you the archaeology first. Fasten your seatbelts as we're moving. So here we have a very special structure. It's the 1st century Synagogue of Magdala. In Hebrew it would be called Migdal Nun, Fish Tower. And here our synagogue is very special. Imagine a priest saying, "Our synagogue." That's quite something else, isn't it? So I encourage everybody to say "our synagogue" for different reasons. We'll get to that. So we wanted to build the guest house that you see here already built, which we inaugurated by God's providence and so many people helping for quite a few years, almost 15 years going project. And we inaugurated in November, at the end of November this year. So welcome people. I see there are more people have joined us. We're at the 1st century synagogue in Magdala, which we excavated in the year 2009 in the preparation to build the guest house. And here you see this is the 7th 1st century synagogue so far excavated. And it's got very special features, and I'm going to take you in there now, but it's going to be a little bit shaky, so hold on to your armchair. This would be the best thing if I take you in. I'm just trying to fix my tripod here to have a little more flexibility. So this room here is a teaching room. You see the rows of seating. And here you see this central stone in the center here with 2 grooves. And so this was a long teaching room. It's a secondary room for a number of reasons. We can say that with certainty, compared to this room over here where I'm taking you now. And some of the evening sun is hitting the stones. So imagine this was covered since probably around the year 67, before the destruction of Jerusalem. So here we are. Look at the seating. This is a 1st century synagogue. There are 3 rows of seating, 2 there in the center with the pillar stubs. And then there's another row inside the outer wall. And then there are the pillar stubs, and then there are some very nice decorations. And we have frescoes. You can see here on the wall facing north, that reddish color. We'll see more in a moment, if you bear with me. So here we have this fresco, and these frescoes are similar to what you see in Pompeii, near Mount Vesuvius, that got covered by the lava and was excavated a couple of centuries ago. One of the first archaeological projects in Europe, I think. Oops, sorry about that. And here we have these beautiful mosaic designs, and you find these in every single palace room in Pompeii. So some archaeologists called Magdala the Pompeii of Israel just because of this, because it's a little bit of a big statement, you know. And then the biggest surprise discovery here was actually this stone, which is considered, where are we here? There we are. It has the oldest menorah ever found on stone. That's the Jewish candelabra. There you can see it. And then all these ornate sculptings around it, engravings, or sculpture really. And so all of these are symbols. We won't go into that in depth now because we could take 20 minutes just for that, and I want to give you more of the site. You know, this is actually first century pavement here, first century floor. You know, it wasn't finished, where like the mosaic parts is still in its finished condition. So this is the most beautiful synagogue in the country from the first century. And sometimes I ask people, you know, how can you help me spiritually here as an Irishman to talk humbly about this, that we have the most beautiful synagogue in the country. And then with the Magdala Stone, it's an extraordinary treasure. It's ranked as one of the most important archaeological discoveries in the last 50 years, 60 years here. And it has been overseas a couple of times to the Metropolitan Museum in New York and to the Vatican Museums in conjunction with the Jewish Museum in Rome. And it's a replica of the temple, but we'll leave that for another day. So now this is the market area you see here. Let me fix the tripod a second here just to get a little bit more stability. And you see those pillars here blocking a major street. And these pillars have plaster and color, so they were taken out of the synagogue. It was a destructive thing for the synagogue, and they blocked this street, so that was a military action. There's a little academic dispute exactly if that was for the revolt of the Jews against the Romans, or if it was afterwards by the Romans stopping the Jewish people coming back. So now this whole area was probably for the fishing industry. There are lots of structures here and other shops as well, obviously. I'm just watching where I'm walking here, so my mind is on that at the moment. So I can show you some of these structures here. If you look in here as we walk now, you'll see these little pools. And there's a whole series of them. And there was actually an Irish pilgrim here, a man with his dad, some 2 years ago. And I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit so you can get a better view of this. There we are. Now you see these structures here. So they, he said to me there were structures like this outside of Lisbon in Portugal, and I thought I'll never go there. He said you have to go when you go to Portugal, you have to see them. But it turned out Providence already had that planned, because I was asked to go and give talks about the Holy Land in Portugal, and that was like 2 years ago. And so I got to see the structures in Portugal. So they were very advanced structures for fish production, and here they're simpler. Some of these are also in Troia, outside of Lisbon. And over here there's a stairs going down with steps. Let me see if I can reach in there with the tripod. And there are steps going down over there. And you can see how they've got out the water then to supply these pools and kept the fish alive for the processing and so on. There's another set of these steps here, and there's a whole set of them underneath the building here. And we sacrificed 5 rooms of the guest house to protect the archaeology. It's something that normally wouldn't be done here, but we did. Look at all these drains. We show them off. You always cover your drains when you have visitors at home, but we show off our drains here because they're very special, first century. Look at that evening sky. And there's Mount Arbel now in clearer view. And behind Mount Arbel there's a valley called Wadi Hammam, the Valley of the Doves. And it would be the natural path to walk from Nazareth to Capernaum. And these are obviously two names you've heard of before, Capernaum and Nazareth. You can see the moon in the very center of the screen, okay? So if you look out your window this evening, you'll see the same moon. And over here we have ritual baths, but I won't go there right now. And they are very, very special. You can see it on the website, magdala.org. And there are also other mosaics under that little roof there. And it's also a great treasure archaeologically. And here you can see the extent of the guest house. We have 156 rooms. And you know, it's amazing what Providence allows, but we were open in November going full steam, full house the whole time until the beginning of March when Corona hit. This is the avenue of gratitude to the donors, and so they're remembered here on these stones. Their names are remembered here. Here we have these olive trees. We did some serious pruning at the beginning of the year, and we're going to have a fantastic harvest, it looks like. And we did the same thing a few years ago, and we had a double harvest. And you remember Jesus teaching, I am the vine and you are the branches, and my Father is the vine dresser. And he cuts and he prunes so there will be more fruit. And we don't like the cutting and the pruning. Look at all the little olives in here. Look at these olives here on the, see them? It's filled with them, look. It's a bountiful crop. Thanks be to God. And we harvest them every year. Here you can see more. And we make oil. We have them pressed for oil. Now you can see the Sea of Galilee in the distance, but we'll get a little closer and a little more focus. I'm fascinated how Jesus used the olive trees and the pruning and all of that to the vine to teach us such profound truths about life. Look at that old olive tree there. Let's go over and look at it a little more closely. It's fascinating to see, you know, all the damage that happened to this tree over the centuries, and the branches that were cut off, and the way it's all gnarled. And there's another one down further, and it's you can see through the trunk. This is actually my sister, Celine, and she works here with us. Celine, I'm talking to Ireland on live stream on Marian pilgrimages here from Magdala.
Great.
So I introduce you to my sister Celine.
Hello there, and welcome to Magdala.
She's also from Clare, you know. Nobody's perfect.
Well, it's wonderful to welcome you to this beautiful place of Mary Magdalene. You can imagine her walking down this street, feeling this lovely evening breeze after a hot sunny day, amidst the palm trees and the olive trees, and maybe Jesus is walking through. And finally she picks up courage and says, "Hey Jesus, can you help me? I got all these terrible demons." And then he would say to her, "Of course, Mary, I will set you free. That's why I've come." And then we know the story. She was a woman who was set free, and what did she do with her newfound freedom? She followed the Lord. And this is the story of this town, a witness to this beautiful miracle of freedom. So you're all invited to come and enjoy your time here at Magdala. God bless you.
Thanks, Silly. That's nice.
Thanks.
So now, wasn't that kind of interesting that Celine came out there? I thought she'd have a cup of tea ready for you, but she didn't. But that'll be another occasion, you know. So here we're at, just to stay on the archaeological theme, we're at the port of the 1st century. And Magdala was a fishing town. People ask me if Jesus was here. And I say we lost all the videos. I can't say it for sure. But here, this is the 1st century port. And they were exporting fish to Rome, according to 5 ancient authors. Can you imagine? We have that amount of evidence, 5 ancient authors. So then that was pretty serious fishing industry, and Magdala's 3 names in Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic all come from the fishing industry. And who did Jesus work with? With fishermen. Look here at this. I want to show you the bougainvillea again. They're really lovely. Yellow ones and red ones. They grow pretty wild. And there we have a nice bell. I'm not sure if we steal a minute, because I'm not sure if you're able to hear bells in Ireland if you're still in lockdown. But sometimes when I'm doing live streaming here, I ring the bell so that people can hear a bell again. Would you like that? Just hold your horses there now. Calling all pilgrims, calling all pilgrims. And just look above the bell, you see the moon waiting there for the sun to set to gain greater dominance. And there you see the Sea of Galilee. We'll get down closer to that in a few minutes, at least that's my plan. Now I want to take you inside. Oh, look at that sky. That evening sky, isn't that beautiful? We have a little cloud, which is actually unusual for this time of the year. And also in the mornings it creates wonderful sunrises, so I'm very happy about that, because every morning, you might know, I do a sunrise chat and stroll. And it's a moment of great delight to see the sun rising and then to comment a little bit of scripture. It's on Facebook live stream, and then it's also on YouTube afterwards, uploaded. I want to show you a beautiful tree here called a ponciana before we go into Dukenalton. And it's amazing, in the space of about 48 hours, this tree went into flame. First of all, it was just 2 little clusters of red, and then it just, in this maybe 30 hours from that point, it just exploded. And it was perfect timing. Then I showed it on Pentecost, a red flaming tree on Pentecost. And now that I'm over here, I'm going to show you another little view of the guest house. And we can see the evening sky again. And I want to show you a new mosaic for some of you who have been here, but not since the summer. In October we installed this mosaic. It's a mosaic of Galilee at the time of Jesus in the 1st century, and it's 1.5 million pieces of mosaic stones from all over the world, including Kashmir and Iran and European countries and South American countries. It was done by Maria Jesus Ortiz de Fernandez. She's an extraordinary artist, and we're going to see more of her work inside of Dukenalton. This is going to be the restaurant. If there's a few lads over there who want to give us a hand to fix this, it would be great. A lot of work to do on it yet. So then we have another novelty here that you haven't seen if you haven't been here recently. And it is this image of Our Lady. It was turned around for a photograph the other evening. We had it facing a different way before. But she's pregnant. Very advanced in her pregnancy. It's a statue done by a Mexican sculptor, and he actually donated it to us. And we were wondering, why would we have that in Magdala? Because it's about the public life here. But during the public life, a woman cried out, "Blessed the womb that bore you and the breasts that nursed you." And Jesus actually upgraded the praise for his mother by saying, but more blessed still, the person who hears the word of God and fulfills it. So in this way he gave great honor to Our Lady. Now we're going into Ducum Altum. I just wanted you to see the letters. This means go out into the deep. These are words Jesus said to Peter after he finished preaching from Peter's boat to the multitudes. And then he said to Peter, go out into the deep. And now we're going into the building of Ducum Altum. I think I'll put on some more lights for you. I want to show you this part before it gets darker because it's at its prime still, or almost prime, and you can appreciate it. I'm going to leave you here for a moment, and I'm going to go and get some lights on, so bear with me. I'm going to unplug the phone from the mic here. It might make a little noise. I apologize, but that's the most practical way for me to do that right now, and I'll put it back in when I come back. Thank you. Thank you for waiting for me. I just turn on lights in the women's room behind me. We'll get there in a moment. So this you can see it's still on and then you have the Sea of Galilee outside. So then when the gospel is proclaimed here, as it was on Pentecost Sunday, we even had a confirmation of one of our volunteers. Then it looks like Jesus preaching again from the boat. There are more things to say than time. The women's apron, now you can see it better with the light on. And here we have this is a space to honor women. And the pillars have the names of women in the New Testament, Gospels, the mother of and Johanna. And we'll have to talk more about this another occasion. And this pillar has no name. So it's for all women. And then we have this mosaic here copy from the synagogue, showing that these women of the New Testament are standing on the shoulders of the great women of the Bible, of the Old Testament. And then we have this beautiful text here, and it says, in this whole the church, ecclesia, gives thanks dignity and for the marvels God has accomplished through women throughout history. And these are the hands of Our Lady of Guadalupe on the ceiling. And then we have 4 small chapels for a busload of pilgrims. And here we have Talita Kumi, the little girl that Jesus raises from the dead. Well, let me do it like this. I hope it's still visible there. So they usually put, a little girl puts her hand in Jesus' hand, and the parents stand behind her like here with Jairus and his wife, and we say a little prayer and they take a picture. Jesus, thank you for holding my hand. And I want you to put your daughter's hand in there now, and your granddaughter's hand, and your own hand because you're a daughter. Jesus, thank you for holding my hand. Keep my hand in your hand always. Never let it go. Never let them go. And it's very moving for many people. Now I want to show you one more chapel before we call it quits. And then I think what we do for the Sea of Galilee, I want to get you down there. The time is rolling. So if you join this sunrise stroll and chat, it's a little bit early for Ireland because it's 5:30 in the morning here, so it's about 3:30 in Ireland. But you can see it afterwards at my Facebook page. So we're going downstairs. To the port level of the 1st century port. Features. I don't know the lights now. Just bear with me a moment. I'll put you down here. So this chapel is very simple. First of all, the space. This road here was part of the road where the heavy light is on the floor. That goes out behind that wall, and actually, we could see that at the port outside. It's just near where the bell is. And that's the road of the 1st century. So this is where the fishermen bring their fish to sell it for home, and then it will be processed here in Magdala. And then we developed this space like the synagogue with is very special. And it's done by an artist from Chile, Danielle Carriola. And she was bleeding for 12 years. And she was healed by touching his robes. And Jesus said, "Who touched me?" And the disciples said, "You're crazy. Everybody is pushing around." Light coming from Jesus' robes, and she was healed. We're going through a tough period with all this corona stuff, and so I want to do something for you. I'm sure you know somebody who is sick, and I'm going to have to do a little guesswork in terms of the spacing right now, but I will come over here and put my finger up here, and for your sick people, think of who's sick in your homes and touch Jesus' robe and say, "Jesus, I touch you in faith." For those who are sick, for those who are grieving, for those who are broken in whatever way, Lord, I believe in you. Lord, I hope in you. Lord, I love you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening in this visit to Magdala, in this very special time in history when we are all locked down, and hopefully these restrictions will be able to be eased as there is a greater control over the spread of the pandemic, God willing. And we look forward to pilgrims coming back here again. And we've had many groups from Ireland, and I think also the United States is connected into this live transmission, so this live stream. So we're looking forward to that moment, and meanwhile we'll keep each other in prayer. I thank Marian Pilgrimage for the invitation, for Niall and for Mary Murphy and all the people who have helped to make this possible, for all the technical experts who built Wi-Fi and internet and cameras and tripods, so we can be in touch with each other. God bless you, and say a prayer for us. All the best. We're praying for you here.